friends. So this week in art we will be finishing up our pumpkin drawings from last week by adding some color with watercolor paint. So you'll need your pumpkin drawing, you'll need your watercolor palette, a water cup, and paintbrushes. And let's get started. So if you're using your watercolors for the first time today, they're going to be dry and you'll need to wake them up with some water. So I've already started painting with my green paint here. It was ready to go. But when you're using a paint that's dry, you're going to want to move your paintbrush around a few times and get some water in there to wake it up. You can do some color mixing today. Instead of using the green, I could use blue and yellow. Or I could do both and get some nice different shades of green. I'm going to move on to my pumpkin. So I'm going to wake up, haven't used this one yet today. I'm going to wake it up with some water. Move my brush around maybe about 5 or 6 times. And now I have some nice paint on there. So last week, your last step to your pumpkin project was to outline with a black oil pastel. And the nice thing about that is that oil and water do not mix. So when we're using watercolors with our oil pastel outline, it keeps the paint in place. So it's going to keep my pumpkin paint, my orange that I'm using, away from my green. It's like a wall. That oil pastel has created a nice wall for me to keep my paints where I want them to be. Sometimes you want your paints to mix in art, and then you wouldn't use that oil pastel, and you could let your colors blend together really nicely. But for this project, we want to keep our paint in place. Now you could use some other colors to create some shadows on your pumpkin. Maybe I'll wash my brush before each color. Add some nice bright center to the pumpkin. Washing my brush again. We don't want to mix our colors in our palette. If I wanted to do some color mixing, I would do it on the paper by grabbing a little bit of each color paint I wanted to mix. Let's see, I think I'm even going to use a little bit of red to show a nice shadow over here. And pumpkins come in all different colors, so you don't have to follow the colors that I'm doing today. You can do any color that you'd like. All right, and then my stem. All right. And remember, I added a nice moon in my painting. You might have something else that you want to color. And last, my sky. So again, I have that nice wall of oil pastel that is separating my grass from my sky. So it makes it easy, keeps my paint in place. I think I'm going to switch from blue to purple now. I think that would make a nice interesting sky. But this time, there's not a wall separating those colors, and I'm okay with that because I kind of want them to blend together really nicely. So spend some time exploring your watercolors today and painting your pumpkin art. I want you to paint your whole paper today, not just your pumpkin, not just your sky. I want you to spend some time painting your whole paper so that when you're finished and your art is complete, we don't see any more white. You've painted every part of your paper. See how that oil pastel is resisting those paints when I paint over them. I'm just about done here. I'll grab a little more purple, the last bit, violet. There we go. All right, what do you think? I think I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out, and I can't wait to see the way yours turn out. Have fun, you guys, and have a great week.